Hello and welcome to Slice of Piefer. We're here with Taylor, and she's drinking her cotton candy Alani.
Purple cotton candy. Purple
soft
cotton candy.
serve Alani. Living the dream.
Per
Alani.
the usual.
I notice you look different.
What's that?
Your hair looks lighter.
Oh, I did have a hair appointment. Yes.
It looks very nice.
Thanks.
Well done.
Your hair looks great too.
Yep. I've been really working it.
Yep. Glasses still getting used to that.
Still, yes. I'm still getting used to it as I have to turn my head to try to keep things in focus. But all good. Yeah. I mean, just big changes around here.
So many
big changes.
I don't think my hair qualifies as a big change.
It counts.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much what I just normally do with my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a little lighter because of the
All good.
Summertime.
All good. Yeah. No, we're rocking and rolling. We're getting busier and busier in clinic. That's awesome. So we got the new location, which is really working out nicely. Doing a little bit more Wednesday afternoon clinic, which is growing things quite a bit. You've been holding down the fort in clinic most of the time.
Yep.
But
that has been
a little bit more
big transition of not being in the OR with you.
Although we got to be in the OR just last Tuesday and Friday.
It was so much fun. It was so
Yeah.
much. Because Wally Wall was on vacay.
Yeah, Walter went on a cruise.
Did he come back looking tanner and happier?
His vacation was denied by me, and he still left.
Yeah.
People just
rude.
Do whatever they want.
Rude. Was he singing when he came back, though?
He was excited. He said he had a great cruise, enjoyed it very much, and managed to get by with coming out of the cruise at the same weight that he went in. I was like, that's a huge accomplishment, sir.
Nicely
when
done.
you basically have all day, every day food everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, well played, sir. Well played.
I was going to ask if they when you go on those cruises, do they provide the wheelbarrow to get you off later, or do you have to bring your own?
I mean, you can gain 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds in 1 week.
I gained 11 from Disney. And that's walking 25,000 steps a day.
Yeah,
it's nuts. Me and my dietitian looking at it just going, well, that happened. All right, now we move forward.
Now we keep going.
Yeah.
Now we keep going. Yep. Disney was awesome. The kids still talking about it?
Well, 2 of them are away at camp right now, so not to me. But Axel's still talking about it. He still thinks it's pretty cool. Connor still talking about it. He still thought it was pretty cool. But they've moved on. Now they're like, when are we going to go do something even cooler?
When are we going to do something fun?
And I'm like, can we just financially recover from this one for a little bit?
What about Dan? He wants to go to Disney every year now?
No, he would be fine if we never set foot on Disney soil again. But it was
it's the most magical place on earth.
It was very magical. I was very happy. But Disney for a 40-year-old man is not necessarily like everyone's cup of tea.
I like Disney. But
it's okay. We didn't do it for us. We did it for the kids. We kind of did it for me, but mainly the kids.
Also for you.
Yes. He'd been before, so, But different now. They have a Star Wars area and all that. So
What was your favorite? What was your favorite thing?
Honestly, just walking around and looking at everything was really crazy. Cool to me. I love roller coasters. I love riding them, but just as somebody who grew up in the great era for Disney movies, who was obsessed with, Beauty and the Beast and Belle, I wanted to be her. I loved that movie. And she just had a giant library full of books, why not?
And she fell in love with the Beast.
Yes. Yeah. And then, do you notice a little bit of disappointment on her face when he turned to a human and she's like, oh, okay, I guess I can deal with this.
They're going to have a life-size stuffed animal for the rest of my life.
Right. But then, everything else, afterwards, you don't see her with the human prince. You see her next to the Beast. So, maybe he can flip back and forth. I don't know.
He's like a werewolf.
Maybe.
He's a werewolf
shifter.
Beast. Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot like some of the books you like, too.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of purpose.
Speaking of the Beast. All right.
Let's talk about another rule.
Let's talk about purpose.
Okay. Well, this one specifically,
porpoise.
not the dolphin-like creature. No.
Got it.
Talking about purpose, we're talking about the rule of joy.
Oh.
Why don't you tell the guys what that's about?
Well, so for me, finding joy in what you do is key, right? Enjoying what you do, loving the people you're with, loving the job that you do. It makes work easy. It makes work fun. It makes doing all the things, whether you're building something or you're operating or you're seeing patients or you're trying to work on real estate things. I mean, all of that stuff, if you choose joy in those moments, and it sounds cliche, but maybe it is cliche, but you have that option to choose, right? You can focus on things that are making you happy and making people around you happy, or you can focus on things that stink. And you're going to know people who do that. They focus on the negative, and they're negative, and they are going to drag you down. And if you find people who focus on positive, who lift up the positive, it doesn't mean the negative things won't happen, that you can't live with those things, that you can't adjust to them and move forward. But I think being joyful is a choice, and you got to make that choice every day, sometimes every minute if it's really hard, but you got to make the choice. It's
a choice and it's an action.
Absolutely.
So, but the rule of joy, the reason that we talk about that, it comes from the decision, like you're saying, it's a decision and a choice that you have. Has that come from an area, or did that come from a time where maybe you question whether or not what you were doing was what you wanted to be doing or what you should be doing? Has there ever been a time where you questioned whether or not surgery was right for you?
So I think we probably talked about it on this podcast before, but, we had a tragedy that happened in residency, and where we had one of my residency colleagues, his wife had severe postpartum depression. Nobody knew about it, and it ended up resulting in the loss of her life and the life of her baby, his wife, and his child. And in the throes of that, we were working 80 to 100 hours a week, not seeing our families, not trying to learn how to become good orthopedic surgeons, but also trying to do the work of multiple people, right? I mean, that's part of being a resident is, you just work like at least in that time, you just worked like your life depended on it. And we worked 80 hours a week. Sometimes we worked 90 hours a week. Sometimes you worked 100 hours a week. You just kept working. And so you start to see that cost. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, man, there are things much more important than what I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. There's, and especially if I'm just working to work, then I'm going to lose that purpose. And so I think for me, it became a moment where I said, is this worth it? And the answer was actually no. Like, if it's going to cost me everything I have, if it's going to cost me my joy, if it's going to cost me my life, if it's going to cost me my family, then doing this job is not worth it. And so then you make an active decision. You say, okay, well, I'm going to do the job, but I'm going to do it with joy, and I'm going to make sure that every person in my life knows that I love them. I'm going to make sure every person in my life knows how much I appreciate them. I'm going to make sure that I have gratitude for every moment that I have with anybody, and not take that for granted, because, there's nothing saying that you can't go to work and not see your spouse again after that. Right. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was a huge moment, because my close friend came to work, worked for 12 plus hours, got a page, and when he got home, he had no family. Mm-hmm. Right. And that is devastation, right? Complete and utter devastation. It was devastating to me, and it didn't directly affect me at all. Mm-hmm. Right? It did not influence my life, and I cannot imagine putting myself in his shoes. And I mean, I'm super proud of him, because he has, he's a leading orthopedic surgeon in the country. He's done just absolutely amazing things. He has an amazing wife and kids now too. I mean, we're talking about, this is 20 years ago, 20 plus, give or take years ago now. But yeah, that was a moment where I said, like, if it's just going to be work, and it's just going to be a grind, and it's just going to be mm-hmm. chasing numbers and chasing accolades and chasing money, and then it ain't going to be worth it. Mm-hmm. So because you're talking about, like, that it's an action to choose joy and gratitude. What does that practice look like for you to make that happen? I mean, at times where it's not an easy, like, it's easy to be run down and tired and feel overworked, especially if you've been on call all night and you've been getting little to no sleep. I mean, all the perfect storm right. can happen to where it's really challenging. How do you do that? I mean, so for me, a lot of it is, it's crazy. We read a book called Headamentals, but I mean, it's self-talk. You have to take a moment and take a breath, like and recognize, like, man, I am going to not a good place. I'm getting frustrated, And I mean, sometimes we get those phone calls. You get a phone call in the middle of the night from the ER. This happened a lot more long ago than it does now, but you get a phone call in the middle of the night and man, this is something that they should be able to take care of. But if you flip the script a little bit, if you flip your perspective and you say, no, they're calling because they need me, because they need somebody, they need an expert to tell them what to do. And I'm that person. So what a kind of a gift is that? Like what a privilege is it to have that pressure? What kind of privilege is it that somebody is looking to you for the answer, right? Isn't that what you always wanted, right? And it's a different type of self-talk to say, man, this is annoying that it's interfering with my life, as opposed to saying, hey, this is an opportunity for me to help somebody. This is an opportunity for me to love somebody. This is an opportunity for me to have an interaction with a colleague where I can not only help them, but I can also help guide care that's going to make somebody's family better, a patient better. And I think all of those things, we talk about purpose, but then you start to talk about it, and you can hear it probably a little bit in my voice. You start to feel joyful about it because you say, hey, I can do something to help somebody. Like somebody's looking to me for help. Right. And that's a privilege.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. One, with what you do and being a surgeon, a lot of somebody's identity can get tied to their career or what they do, especially in surgery. Being a surgeon, if you lost that identity tomorrow, whether that was due to that you retired or you had an injury or anything like that, what would you do? What would you be?
So number one, I think that if your identity is wrapped in your career, then you're lost, right? You're lost, right? If you believe in a higher power, which I do, then my identity is being a child of God. Before being a surgeon, I'm a husband. Before being a surgeon, I'm a father. Before being a surgeon, I'm a friend. Before being a surgeon, I'm all of these things before I'm a surgeon. So if I lose being a surgeon, then I'll make it, right? I know I'm going to be fine. I know, and I think that that's key. If your identity is wrapped in your work, I mean, that's why you see people who lose their life savings and then they take their own life because they don't have their perspective is missing. Right? Their perspective about what's important in this world is missing. And it's that same thing, right? I mean, whoever wished, gosh, I wish I could have worked more. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I love what I do. So I think, is it possible that I lay on my deathbed and say, man, I wish I could have helped more people? I think that's actually probably a possibility. But the reality is, like the moments with your kids, the moments with your spouse, the moments with your family, like those are priceless moments. And those are things that are precious that you never get back. And we've talked about it a lot. I mean, we've talked about that last time. That last time when your kid runs and jumps up and wraps his arms around your neck and dangles from your neck because, soon he's going to be taller than you and he's not going to have to do that anymore. Yeah. Like, you don't remember when that time was. Because you get a little bit lost. And I think but that's joy. Like thinking about those moments bring you happiness. And there comes a time in your life when you don't have that ability. Right.
Well, and the thing is those moments can bring you happiness.
Absolutely.
But there are sometimes, and I'm definitely in this camp where I couldn't see that. Like my identity was so wrapped up in my career and what I was doing and helping people in that way. And that's the only place that I found joy. And it took a lot of work to get away from that and still find joy in what I do. Still love helping people, still love getting to be in the operating room and do all that stuff. But there are times where it can get really hard to find that joy just at home because you just feel run down, because you feel underappreciated or overburdened or whatever. Sure. And that's part of finding, I think, your identity outside of that is important to reestablishing a healthy dynamic where you can appreciate things like your kids running up and putting a hug around your neck. Because there are times where my kids would have done that where I've been like, please stop touching me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and would have been like, turning to my husband and saying, can you please manage them so I can get dinner on the table? Right? And not taking the joy to see, wow, like my kid missed me so much today that all they wanted to do was run up and give me a hug. And I couldn't see that.
And I think that is a huge lesson. It's a huge lesson that's different from where you are today with your kids and where I am today with mine. Because I can look back and my kids will still give me a hug. My kids will still come up and tell me they love me. But that moment of just like, oh my gosh, dad is home. you know, sprinting to the door to just be there. And it doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And for kids who are 17 years old, you don't expect your 17-year-old son who's 2 inches taller than you to come up and be like sprinting to the door like, Daddy's home, right? But you think back at those moments and you're like, golly, you know, I wish that I could have just wrapped that up into, and you can. I mean, I can feel it still right now talking about it. I can feel that feeling of, man, that was awesome. And I can feel your sadness too in that not recognizing it, right? And I'm sure I was there. I've been there many times. I've been burnt out and tired and worn down and just like, give me a little space. Right. But the reality is someday that space is just going to be infinite and they're not going to be there. And you're like, what on earth have did I miss? What have I let go? And I think that piece is a weird piece that you don't, I mean, it's better to see that when you're in your late 20s and 30s and 40s and to be looking back when you're 80 and you're saying like, oh my gosh, right? Because when you're 80 and you can't do anything because your body's failing, your mind is failing, your physiology is failing, like the things you're going to have are these memories of times, the memory of Disney World, right? For all the headache and pain and all of that stuff, I'm telling you, I can look back and I absolutely know that Chrissy and I were stressed beyond belief when we were at Disney World, but I don't remember it. What I remember is I remember my kids walking with the stormtroopers and just being like, this is crazy. I remember my daughter on the teacups just looking like she had never been on anything else that she's ever been like in the world. And this is just a spinning teacup, you know?
Absolutely. Well, so I remember both now. And that's the thing is I think it's as important to me to remember the good stuff, the happy memories, the hugs, as it is for me to remember how stressed out and angry or sad I was. Because that motivates me to keep doing the things I'm doing now to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So that I don't ever go back to being sad that my kid hugged me or mad or annoyed. Yeah. Right? You don't want to live life that way. That's such a lonely, like sad. And again, you look back and you go, man, I wasted so much time.
Yeah.
Like I could have gotten a handle on this or I should have done something different so much quicker. But it's being present in both. It's looking back and appreciating and finding, man, the joy in those moments that I was able to connect and be a good and present mom, be a good and present wife, friend, you know, seeing those, but also seeing the times wherein I failed my own values and going, man, it's a blessing to see both.
Right. I agree. And
speaking of that, when we talk about like defining success, how has your definition of success changed over time? You know, if you think about how you might have defined it when you were, you know, an undergrad versus medical school versus residency versus now, has that evolved? Has it changed?
So I think as I matured through everything, we talked a little bit about this actually on the last podcast, but there was always the next thing, right? There's always the next thing. And I mean, it's almost like an addiction. You're chasing that. And when you hear people who have addictive personalities or who are addicts, whether it's drugs or alcohol or other different things, right? Once they get what they needed, there's still not a satisfaction that comes at the end, right? And so it was always like, I got to pass this test. I need to make an A here. I need to do this. I need to do this many cases so that I can have this case log so that I can get into this residency, so I can get into this, not residency, so I can get into this fellowship, so I can get this job. And I think that the challenge is I think setting goals is huge, right? You want to set goals and you want to set huge goals. Set huge goals that you can change the world, right? Because each of us has that ability. I 100% believe that. But your life shouldn't be, for me, it became a moment of saying like, I got to live and love and recognize what's happening in this moment, right? Like to be able to sit down with everybody in the operating room, or not sit, but to talk with everyone and say thank you, right? To be able to say, we made a difference today and I couldn't have done this without you, right? Those are moments that I think are huge. And when you express gratitude and humility with sincerity, then people people migrate to that. People want to be around people who are trying to make a difference, but they're making a difference for the right reasons. And for me, defining success became just like, I mean, it's having an impact. It's making an impact, but it's making an impact simply on a single person's life, right? Being able to change somebody so that they can go play pickleball and be happy is really like, that can be a joyful moment.
Absolutely. And again, taking care of that whole person, right? That pickleball that they play 2 times a week, 3 times a week is a way that they move their body and they feel good and they connect. If they're doing it outside, then they're getting some sunlight and some vitamin D, and it's taking care of that whole person.
Right.
It's not just about playing pickleball.
Right.
Right. It's about a lot more than that.
And that's where I think you get these things, you know, the Willie Nelson backstage pass, right? That was a gift given to me by a patient. And I was like, this is insane. Like, you do not give this to me. I cannot accept it. And he was like, absolutely. You have to take this. I'm giving this to you because of how you treated me. And I'm like, well, I love it. I mean, it's awesome. And so those moments, and I mean, that we talked about the Texas style sheet cake rule, but like, I mean, those cards, we keep the cards up in the office. We keep the thank you cards. We keep those moments. We keep those comments that people make that make you proud of who you are. I mean, and I try to share that when I'm with people. People tell me, oh, we love Taylor. And like, I mean, I hear that 5 times a day. So thank you. You know, maybe more than that. Like, your staff is so amazing. Your Mark in X-ray he's the best. He's so good. And I mean, we hear that all the time. And I think that piece is something that sharing that with people so that they know how valuable they are, but also so that they know that they're making a difference in people's lives is a huge defining success. And whether it's you know, if you want to define your success based on your bank account, based on the number of surgery you do, based on the amount of prestige that you have in the community, based on whatever it is, any of those things are going to fall flat ultimately.
Absolutely. And the thing is you can still do some of those things, right? And still have a good purpose-driven practice, a good purpose-driven life, right? Trying to be the best shoulder surgeon, or trying to be the best doctor, or trying to be the best, you know, boss. All of those things aren't bad things to aspire to, but it's the motivation and purpose behind them. Why do you want to be the best shoulder surgeon? Is it well, because I want to have a fat bank account? No, it's because I want to help people who otherwise may not have access to this kind of help, right? Who have a complex problem that I have the knowledge and skill to take care of, right?
And that's a privilege. It's a blessing. It's a privilege. It's something that as a surgeon, you've got to have the gratitude and humility to be able to say, like, listen, I'm here. This is what I'm here for. This is part of what I'm called to do.
Absolutely. Well, and to say that you want to do that and, oh, I don't care about making money. Well, no, you have to be able to provide for your family and to do those things too, but it's not the drive. Right. The drive isn't so that I can be as wealthy as I can, or, you know, it's because I can help these people.
Sure.
Right. And a byproduct of that is that we get compensated for doing something that we also find immense joy in doing.
I agree with that. 100%.
So on the days where it's harder and heavier, cases are harder, more complex, maybe not the outcomes that we hope for or want.
Sure.
You know, how do you deal with those days at the end of it? How do you keep that from bogging you down?
So it's still, I mean, we've been harping on purpose. How do you get back to your why? Yeah. We've been harping on purpose and gratitude and those things. I mean, we strive always, and I do, to always find, how could we have done better? What could we have done better? And so when you have a day that's tough and, you know, cases get delayed, cases don't happen, things don't, right? I think that being able to actively look at those things and approach those with a plan is important. But then I think that ultimately there's a moment, you know, where I sit in the car and I just say, thank you. Right. I mean, whether it's prayer, whether it's just a open phone call to somebody to say, hey, thanks for helping. I think that it's an active moment. You have to be able to see that. And I think catching yourself in the moment, catching that thought, like, you know, I'm beat. I got beat down today, you know, and starting to feel that little bit of pity, that little bit of like, right. If you can catch that actively, with gratitude, with a purpose to get better, with the purpose to say this is an opportunity for our team to improve, then it makes it all a little bit easier, right? If you just feel like a loser, well, then that doesn't work very well either. So I think ultimately for me, that's it. But I think it takes a little bit of catching yourself in the moment, right? Because if you let yourself spiral out of control, you can just keep spiraling down the toilet. But if you can catch yourself in that moment, you can tell yourself, hey, here's what we can do to make this better. And here's how, just having that, I mean, that bit of gratitude, right? You hear people say that. I hear people say it all the time, right? You know, and just being thankful for what you've got.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I also think to some degree that when thinking about that question with regards specifically to you is trying to think of how to say this without being not PC, but you do the right thing for every patient every time, whether the equipment's not right, whether you don't have your favorite set, whether you don't have your favorite scrub tech, does not matter. I think that part of the reason that it's easy for you to have the, you know, to look at yourself and look at days and be grateful and thankful is because you don't have to, you know, think about those. I mean, there's times where, you know, I've heard people say things like, well, this case went to crap because the equipment broke or because this implant failed or because this, and they couldn't ever really recover, right? They couldn't get themselves back to the right headspace and lead the team to making the outcome as successful as any outcome could be, right?
Right.
And you don't fall apart like that, like I see other people. And so I think that that's part of the reason why, you know, reconnecting at the end of like a long day or hard day is because you still look at it and go, I did the best thing I could for every patient every time that was on my table. And I had the opportunity to interact with and help this many people today or these people, you know, and I think that makes, I mean, again, if you can find a career, if you can find something that you're that passionate about, this thing comes more naturally.
I agree.
It's more organic for somebody like you versus somebody who's trying to like in a career, in a path that they don't care about or they're not passionate about or they've lost their purpose. It becomes almost impossible to circumvent that.
And I mean, I agree with that.
There's no 12-step program to go, okay, you hate your job. Well, here's how to still do it the best. Right? Like if you hate your job, if you hate what you're doing, if you don't have passion and purpose, you got to find what you do.
Right.
Got to find what that is.
I agree. And that's very easy to say. It's not that easy to do, especially if you're lost, especially if you don't know what your purpose is. But that's what people are here for, right? That's what your friends, that's what your family, that's what mentors, that's where people can say like, hey, I'm here to listen. And it's an interesting thing. Another person, I mean, I know him well, but like asking somebody for help is also giving someone an opportunity for joy, right? Because everybody wants to help, right? And you would be so surprised at how that level of feeling like you're alone, the loneliness, like I'm the only one who's ever had this problem, right? That's all just pulls you into this hole where the reality is all you've got to do is you just need that little glimmer of light and that little glimmer of hope, that person who you can say, hey, today was a rough day. And they can say, I've been there, you know, and they can say, we've done it before and you're going to do it again and you can get through it. And I think that piece is there's power in being able to do that, but there's also power in knowing, right? Giving somebody an opportunity to help you. Like if you have true friends, true family, true relationships with the people you work with, if you're struggling, then just talk to them, right? And ultimately you're giving them a gift because they get a chance to help you.
Right.
And that's kind of cool.
Just like you gave me the chance to help you by
coming on this podcast.
Making me come on this podcast.
Thanks, Taylor. I'm glad I could give you this gift.
I don't have I mean, I'm here to help, right?
You're here for the party.
My purpose is to help, and I'm helping you right now. And that's my purpose in doing this podcast.
Yes. And that's what I love about it. So kudos to you, Taylor.
Kudos.
Thanks for being here.
Dude, you just gave me like a mental flashback. Do you remember Kudos bars?
Oh, yes.
Dude, I remember buying those in Sam's when I was like a kid with my mom. The one with M&Ms in it was the best.
So tasty. So good.
Do they make Kudos anymore? Is Kudos still a thing?
I have not seen a Kudos in some time.
Yeah.
But they make the similar ones. chewy or something else.
No, Kudos is way better than the chewy bars. We have chewy bars at the house. I like Kudos.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I've just romanticized Kudos bars in my head because they were so good and they had
like
M&Ms.
I've romanticized Disney World from our years past.
Right.
Very nice. All right. Well, we'll wrap it. Some heavy conversation today.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are going to really love it.
This is a real bummer.
Good one. This is a real good one. I think it's going to be good. People, I mean, I don't know. You let us know. What do you think? I think talking about joy and real things is also important.
I think so too.
I think it's also important to be able to have fun in life, right? People ask me that. How can you be a surgeon and make such stupid videos? I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. I made the stupid videos. It makes me smile.
Yeah.
It makes Taylor smile. And there's 6 people who watch the video. So great. You know, whatever. Life is too short to not enjoy it. Life is too short to not have fun, not do the things that you want to do. And it's too short to not let the people who you work with and who you see all the time know how much you appreciate them. So I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you guys listening, for all of you who are out there. But for Taylor, you rock, and I appreciate it.
You rock. So, I appreciate you.
Thank you. We're headed out. One more time.